to die.
Čus lidi, já vás vítám u dalšího videa, tady máme Stanley Parable a druhá část, bohužel, ne, bohužel spíš bohudík, ne, já nevím. A minule jsme procházeli tím stylem, jakože byli jsme nejdřív hrozní, hrozní slušňáci, jo. Byli jsme hrozní slušňáci a pak jsme byli najednou hrozní rebelové. No a teď to projdeme stylem, že budeme nejdřív slušňáci, že projdeme těma dveřma nalevo, jak jsou na začátku, jak nám tam říká, že máme prostě jít tam tudy. A pak prostě utečeme z cesty. A druhá část bude, že půjdeme jakože hrozný rebelové tou první uličkou. A hned jakože další budou nějaký slušňáci, nebo nějak to prostě takhle zkomplikujeme, nebo zkompletujeme, nebo já nevím, jak to říct prostě. No nic, takže dáme se do toho, já teď udělám menší střih, abyste nemuseli zase poslouchat ty divný keci, co jsou tady na začátku, no já si budu muset bohužel poslechnout, tak jo. No jo, co se dá dělat, takže za chvilku, čau. OK, super, takže jsme tady v té místnosti, prostě před, já nevím. Prostě za chvilku tady bude to rozdělení na ty dvě místnosti, jak se máme prostě rozhodnout, jestli máme jít do nějakých dveří nebo do těch druhých dveří. No nic, tak se tam dáme do toho, jdeme. Tak, už jsme tady, jo.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Tak to budeme teďko hrozný, nebudeme rebelové, ještě ne, až potom.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Blah, blah, blah.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to coming to a staircase. Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Jo, že máme jít nahoru, vlastně nějak překrývali ty názvy, ne názvy, ty keci, prostě. Máme jít nahoru, my půjdeme dolů, Tak, jdeme dolů. Zvědavej, co se nám tady přijde stane, přijde nás něco vybavne, protože jsme hrozní rebelové.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Oh. Jsme tady zpátky.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
No! Už zase. Co teď?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other.
Já se jenom na chviličku pozastavím, nevím, jestli jste tomu všemu rozuměli, teďko docela hodně mluvil, prostě jednoduše, že ten Stanley se z toho už začíná, se z toho celý zbláznil, že myslí si, že je to celý jenom jeden sen a prostě, že není možný, že by mu nějaký hlas mluvil v hlavě a podobně. No nicméně teďko najednou se to celý stmavil a najednou to bude vyprávět, že jsme nějaká žena Mariana, nebo což je to, teďko jsem slyšel na začátku, nebo což je to, tak se dáme do toho.
She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Tak teď fakt nevím. Co teď? Haló? Bude se něco dít nebo ne? Ach jo. F5. F5 taky nic. Oh my god, co mám dělat? Tak zase game mode. Game mode 1. Cože? Proč ne? Help. Co máme help? Nemáme help. Default game mode. Jo, default game mode. Ha, tak to už máme takhle. Default game mode. Ne. No evidentně prostě nás to nepustí dál, nebo já nevím. Evidentně je to nějaký buglí. Nevím, proč to nejde. No nic, nicméně tím pádem by asi tahle ta první část jakože stačila, nebo já nevím, jak to říct, jestli stačila nebo ne. Prostě... Podíváme se na to asi z té druhé stránky, jakože budeme hodný, ne, že budeme rebelové a pak budeme hodný, nebo něco podobným. Něco v podobném stylu, bych to tak viděl. No nic, tak se uvidíme za chvilku. Oh yeah. OK, takže jsme tady zpátky, já jsem se zase načetnul znova tu mapu a už jsme před těma dveřma, takže půjdeme tam do těch pravých dveří a budeme hrozný rebelové. Buhahaha.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
On his left, takže půjdeme tady.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Si vzpomněl, že asi nemám peaceful, co? Tak, employee lounge.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Takže máme jít prej tudy, jenže to se vrátíme pak, že nebudeme hodný, no takže to se mi tam nechce, takže... Nebo jo? Nebo ne? Nebo jo? Ne, kašel má to, ještě jdeme dál.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oh.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Kecej, protože máme ženu zase, takže jsme se zvěděli už minule. No, takže máme jít zase asi rovně jak předtím. Černá tma. Ach jo. Pěkně a nic. Tady se to zase podělané jako prase, ach jo. Bych se měl asi vyměnit spotky, nebo v tom smyslu. Nevím. Své oblíbený spodňáry bych si měl na sebe vzít asi, nevím. Tak to bude v tom výtahu, nebo co to je, ne? No jasný.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this.
Hotovka.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling this bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Máme jít dovnitř.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Ježíš, to mám stejně to ťukat, ježíšmarja, to jsem neměl rád.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Čušte na to, jak prostě budou mizet ty bloky, ty hustý. Čušte na to.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Tam budou mizet bloky, ha.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
No.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Yay.
So he went further.
He
imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Tak ještě jednou.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Ještě máme ťukat, jo?
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Tak, a teďka ho poslechneme. Teď nedokašlem, teď ho poslechneme. Nebudem ťukat, prostě ne. 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 Nebudem ťukat. Prostě ne. Teďko jsem ho poslech, tak co? Pokračujem, ne? Ne. Ne. Já to ťukat nebudu. Tak šup, pokračujte. Pokračovat. Šup, prosím. Proč mi nechcete pomoct? Ach jo. Ne, pro pomoc. Fakt nevím. Tak já nevím, máme to ťuknout? A nevím. Jsem říkal, že je další věc, jakože budeme dělat, jakože jsme hodný, ne? Nebo poslušný, no tak jo, co mám dělat?
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Ještě ťukáme, takže dál.
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Please,
and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I
What? Tak co? Please die. Dead block couldn't be placed. Dead block couldn't be placed. Bože! To jsme tam zase na tom samém místě, děláte si ze mě srandu. Mode. Ne. My jsme zase tady. Tak schválně, já se podívám, jak dlouho natáčíme. No, teoreticky bychom si mohli stihnout ještě jednou. Tak jo, tak to ještě stihneme ještě jednou, takže já se za chvilku s váma ještě uvidím, takže čus. OK, takže jsme tady se zpátky u těch dveří, byli jsme teda hodní a přišli jsme tou hodnou cestou, takže jdeme nahoru za tím šéfíkem a jdeme se za ním podívat schválně, co tam bude. Oh yeah, tak. Jsme tady.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway. Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Wow, takže jsme tady. Já doufám, že tady bude teď něco jako, že se nerozhodování, já doufám, že jo. Protože už jsme dosáhli 4 cílů, takže já doufám, že tady bude teďko 5. Doufám. Takže, teď máme tohleto.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Nah.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Jdeme nahoru. No, takže prostě jdeme nahoru a doufám, že tady bude nějaká ta cesta pro ty rebely.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Čukám na všechno a nic nejde. Ach jo. Ach jo. Ťukej. Ťukej, bože. Furt nic, jdem dál. Co je tady? 4. Jo, tady máme input, jo. My jsme to minuli vypli, tak teďko dáme on. A uvidíme, co se stane.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means, I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't.
Zajímavý.
Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count. Or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever.
Co to? Co se stalo? Co se stalo? Já jsem tam ťuknul to červený tlačítko, protože mi tam říkal, že s tím dá nějak zastavit, nebo což je to? Co se stalo? Oh my god, to je zase nějaký další bug, ono to fakt nefunguje. Připadá mi, že ty konce nejsou nějak dobře udělaný, nebo já nevím, je to nějak špatně dodělaný. No nic, prostě, takže jednoduše dáme si game D1, abych si ty hezky mohl prolítnout. Nicméně já doufám, že ten díl se vám líbil, i když to takový, jakože 3 konce takový nedodělaný, jako ani mě se to teďko nelíbilo, nevím, jak vám se to bude líbit, jsme nějakým takovým tím podezřelým divným komentářem, nevím. Nicméně pokud se vám to líbilo, určitě dejte like, napište mi tam nějaký komentář k tomu, jestli se vám to líbilo nebo nelíbilo, nebo co byste chtěli, abych třeba já na sobě zlepšil nebo co podobného. No a já se na vás těším u dalšího videa, tentokrát to bude ve středu, což bude vlastně zítra. Já nevím, kolikátý to bude. 17, 18, 19.3. ve středu vyjde speciální videjko, takže určitě se na to těšte a určitě se na něj podívejte. Takže se na vás těším u dalšího videa a čus!